Hello everyone. Welcome to today's episode of the Learning Podcast. I'm my host Naman Shah and today we have a special guest Mr. Chintan Doshi. I welcome you to the Learning Podcast. Thank you for being
Thank you,
here.
Naman. Thank you so much, Naman. It's my pleasure being here. As invited by Naman, myself, Chintan Doshi. Basically, I'm an educational consultant, a life coach, and a teacher. My expertise is in chemistry. I teach students. Chemistry is my subject, and I teach them from competitive exams like national exams, JEE, NEET. I even teach the students how to design their life. So, in sum up, if you are summing up the things, you can say that I'm connected to the educational field and the students since 14 plus years. So in a year, I almost come across with more than 2000 students. And recently we have launched a helpline since 1 year. We call it as Talk to Chintan, in which we proceeds with different activities like reducing the stress level, reducing the depression level, how to stop students from committing suicides, how to stop youngsters from getting depressed, and so many things which develop life, which design life of the students.
Yeah, that's a superb helpline. Wonderful idea.
Yeah,
So let's start with our questions and the interview.
yeah, sure.
The first question for this interview is what is Talk with Chintan? Your helpline.
What is, pardon me?
What is Talk with Chintan? Your helpline.
Okay. Talk to Chintan is actually an idea which was coming through my mind, and it was like you can say that I was in a dialogue with myself since 5+ years that I want to do something for the youngsters, I want to do something for the future generations, and I wanted to do something for my students. Because if I am in contact with students, like let's say 2000 students, I'm in contact with them in a live contact, but across India, we have lakhs of students. Now, on almost you can say that before 1.5 year, I got a data which was published by Government of India. It said that almost 24 hours a day, we have students who are suiciding every 1 hour. So that was a huge data. Every 1 hour, one student is committing suicide, and that was on record. Now, if you take the example, students who are running out of their homes because of exam fear, youngsters who are committing suicides, but they are not taken as a record. So if you come to a conclusion, there are almost one suicide which is occurring every 30 minutes in our country. If you collect the data across the globe, we can clearly say that almost 1/3 death every year is getting because of depressed situation. It is because of the pressure of external things. It is due to pressure of over saturation of mental thoughts. It is due to the pressure of exams. It is due to the pressure of performance. Now, when I studied such kind of students, I got a belief why this kind of students or why this kind of personalities are motivated to have suicidal attempts. The reason was nobody was there to hear them. They were not having the shoulders on which they can put their head and they can share some things. Now I just grabbed that opportunity. I wanted to be the shoulder for such students, to be the shoulder of such youngsters to whom they can clearly share the things which are not that much comfortable with them. They can share the things on which they are getting so much of stress. Now, once they are giving the thoughts, or once they are sharing the thoughts with me, I can guide them what they should do and what they should not do. And by that thing, directly or indirectly, I can save lives. And for your knowledge and for the knowledge of listener, uh, within the short span of 1.25 years, I have almost saved more than 15 lives who were going to do suicidal attempts. I have almost talked with more than 75 persons. They may be students, they may be youngsters, they may be couple, because we know that everybody has certain kind of problems. Couples may be having their kind of problem. Suppose a girl or a boy is getting newly married. So when a girl is going to house of in-laws, they may be having certain kind of stress. So if you see all our situation, we need somebody who can easily listen to a problem and who can easily guide us. So that was the idea behind Talk to Chintan. So here Chintan is my name, but Chintan is somebody who is friend with all the age, with every certainties. Chintan is such a personality to whom you can share everything, and Chintan is such a personality who will take care of your depression. So that's the idea behind Talk to Chintan. And I like to quote one thing, that share your chinta with Chintan. In Gujarati, we call chinta means the stress or tensions. So you are happy to share the things with Chintan and you will be relieved with your tensions.
So share your worries with Chintan and get your solutions, right?
And one more thing, Naman, I would like to add before you fire me with the second question. This was the first helpline across the India in which any of the parent, any of the student or any of the youngster can one-to-one contact with the person, can one-to-one meet with the person, because we have so many helpline numbers, so many helplines, so many counselors across India, but you may not get the actual contact number of the person who is listening to you. The persons may be varying always, and you are not able to meet that person. But in this Talk to Chintan, I am personally meeting the persons who are wanting or who are readily active to share their tensions, their stress, and I can directly talk with them also. So I'm sharing my personal number with each and every listeners. So you can even add that my personal number with your viewers also.
That's a wonderful idea, and I will add the number. But can you share the number in this interview?
Yes, sir. It is 8530331097.
Yeah. For all the viewers and all the audience, if you have any worries, you can contact him without any fail. The number is here, and I'll also edit it and give it in the starting.
Yeah.
And this helpline is open to everyone, right?
Everyone, there is no age barrier. It can be if you are a student or if you are a kid of 5 years, and if you are an elderly person of 100 years, everybody can talk with him.
And even parents and couples and everyone, right?
Yes.
It's a
There is no
wonderful idea.
barrier. There is no hindrance. Everybody can talk.
Super. Thank you.
Most welcome.
Second idea is related to the first one. Second question is, how you got the idea of starting this super helpful helpline?
Because I have seen many of the students, if I am in live contact with my class, then there are so many students who will share their problem with me. So I was in live contact with only to that students to whom I was teaching. But what about so many lack of students to whom I am not available in a live contact? So that thing was constantly pricking me, and it was inspiring me that I should do something for each and every students, because nobody should be deprived of the resources. So that was the thing, that it should be open for all, and everybody should be able to contact to me, and everybody should be able to talk to me. So that was the thing. I launched it on a media platform, and that was the thing. I launched my free helpline, my number also, because once you can call to anybody. Suppose you are sitting in Mumbai and you want to contact me, then you can easily contact me via phone or via social media. Now, if you are not my student, then you were not knowing to me. You were not in contact with me. But once you are my student, you are in contact with me because you are daily meeting me in my classroom. But if you are totally unknown to me, then there is no contact number to which you can contact. That was the reason why I opened it across the nation, that everybody can contact me as per this helpline number. And there is, you would like to know one more thing, and it is my privilege that this helpline is running from 6 a.m. till 12 a.m. There is no time restriction between 6 a.m. to 12 a.m.
Super.
Yeah.
So you can solve the problems full time.
Yeah. It's my prime focus, and almost during this COVID situation, there were so many families which were in depression, And on an average, I got 650 plus calls daily past 1 month. And I was trying to attend as maximum as patients or families I could have attended.
Yeah. So you are sacrificing your needs and everything for them.
Yeah, that is my prime focus, and my family is also backing me in this because they are also seeing the results. When somebody is getting saved, then time is something else and life is something else. So life is more important compared to small time which I'm giving from my family life to other persons.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So the third question for this interview is how to control your thoughts. Because we have many thoughts which are bad and good. If they are good, there is no problem. But if they are bad, then how to control them?
Yes. Very nice question, Naman. See, I would like to quote one particular example to explain this answer. Suppose you are going from one city to another city through a highway.
Yeah.
Now, when you are driving your car, you would be having so many cars besides you, which are running parallelly and which are also running anti-parallelly. So, on which car you will be focusing?
So in your way,
Yes. So, we will be focusing on the car in which we are there. In which we are driving, or in
yeah,
the car which we are sitting, we won't be focusing on the cars which are passing by us. Now,
right.
suppose it doesn't mean that we are closing our eyes the cars which are passing by us. We are seeing each and every cars and we let them pass. But we are focusing only on our main track. We are only focusing on our car. Same way, it is with our brain. We have different strata of mental frequencies like alpha, theta, delta. So in a normal condition, when a person is hyperactive, our thinking frequency is almost 14 to 22 hertz. Now, if you want to control that, suppose somebody is in a meditation level, most of the time it is alpha level, in which the frequency of thought would be 7 to 14 hertz. Now, that is the phase which everybody wants to attain because that phase increases the senses. Now, question is how to attain that phase, how to control the thoughts, which was your primary question. Now, we are the master of our brain. Our brain is not master of us, right? People are always misguided. What we think is thoughts are coming to my mind and I'm not able to control that. Now, we should simply give the condition, we should simply give the command. I want to focus on this many thoughts. Let other thoughts pass by me.
Just as the cars
So,
pass.
yes. So, which are the thoughts which we need to focus? Suppose we have a target that we want to clear one particular subject and we want to study on that particular subject. Now, once you are studying that subject, you may be having 100 of thoughts which are coming to your mind. What we need to do is just a thought is coming, let it pass and focus on the subject which you are studying. Actually, it is simple if it is practiced day by day. The way I have easily explained, it is not that much easy to get implemented, but once you are practicing the thing, you will be easily able to practice or you will be easily focused on one particular thought. So what happens? The multiple thoughts which are coming to your mind that would be slowly eradicated. They would be easily eliminated. But it is not possible that you would be having only one thought. Remember this thing. At a time, a normal brain has thousands of thoughts. It's our control, it's our responsibility to control that thought or to focus on one particular thought. Because we can't control every cars which are passing by us. We
Yeah,
are controlling only our, right?
right.
So safety is in our hand while we are handling the steering. Safety is in our hand, whether we want to steer it left or we steer it right. But if we control the steering, it is as easy that we are focusing on one thought, let other thoughts be passed by us. Suppose we are getting distracted by some thoughts, just pass it again, try to focus on that particular subject on which you are studying, on that particular thought on which you are studying.
Right.
I hope
Super answer.
this is clear.
Thank you. It's a wonderful answer. It might help many of my audience. Thank you. The fourth question of this interview is how to stop being distracted from your goals. There are many people, including me sometimes, I get distracted from my goal and then I go somewhere else. So
Yes.
to drive another car and there's so it's
Yes. So it's like you are sitting in your car, but suddenly you jump from your car and go to the second car which is
yeah,
passing by yourself. It's like that. Now, how to control that thing? So first of all, what is distraction? We should understand what is distraction. Because when we want to solve a problem, we should understand the problem with particular depth. Now, what is distraction? Distraction means the thought which is not your primary thought, it takes place of your primary thought. So your focus would be diverted from your main thought to the secondary thought, which is getting able to dominate your brain, right? So distraction is nothing but a thought to which we have given importance. Suppose we are driving Maruti Alto and we are having a dominance towards Mercedes Benz. Now a C-class Benz is moving besides us, and we would be completely distracted towards that because we like the beauty, we particularly love the color, we particularly love the force through which momentum which it is moving. But we have to be very aware that with a fraction of time we are enjoying the scenery, we are enjoying looking at Benz, but we should be properly controlling our Alto. We should not leave the steering.
yeah,
It means that distraction can only damage you if you allow distraction to get dominated.
yeah, true.
So the viewers should be very active that we should not leave the steering of our car in which we are sitting. So our prime focus should be our main thought. It should be our main subject, and distraction should be left over. Now, there are certain activities by which we can rule out the distraction. Suppose we are distracted by one particular thought. As soon as we come to know that we are getting distracted, we should leave our place for 3 to 4 minutes, change every thoughts, change atmosphere, have a particular walk, or have some snack, or have something chatting, social media, whatever you want. Just a break of 3 to 4 minutes. Come back to original thought. You would be surprised that the distraction has been moved on.
I'll try definitely.
Distraction won't anytime. Suppose I say that right now we are having an interview session. Now I'm distracted by any kind of thought. Once distraction starts, we should leave the place at one particular time. Because once you leave that place, distraction won't be able to dominate your thoughts. It means you are
Distraction will be
removing
distracted.
Yes, that's the point. Distraction would be distracted because you are not allowing the distraction to get dominated. Now, once you are moving out, once you are leaving that place, once you are leaving that particular thought, after 3 to 4 minutes break, you are coming back. Now, distraction has moved very far. Mercedes Benz has moved too away. So it is further. So you are out of your sight. And again, you are having the control of your Alto. But now, if that distraction arrives again, or if the distraction is repeating its history and it tries to dominate yourself, what we should do? We should repeat the activity. First time we are giving a break of 3 to 4 minutes. Next time we should give a break of 1 to 2 minutes. And later on, if you are habituated with this activity, it will hardly take 30 seconds to change the thought. And this mechanism, we call it as changing the thought process. Background of our brain is constantly active with number of thoughts. So once you are changing the surrounding, once you are changing the place, once you are leaving the place, the background of the brain would be changed. Because right now, if I'm sitting on this situation, you can see my chair. Once I'm coming out of this exterior, I'm leaving this place, then my background would be changed. Are you getting my point?
Yeah, I'm getting it.
So once the background is changed, the thought process will change. And once the thought process is changed, the thought which was giving us any kind of distraction would have moved further. So again, we can focus on our prime focus. It is a bit
Tougher.
technical language, or it is a bit complicated thing, but once it is practiced in day-to-day life, once distraction
It will be
starts, you take a
easy.
break, it would be very easy. And within 20 or 30 days, you will reach to such a stage that you won't need any kind of break. Once the thought has come, once a distraction has come, you will just do this simple activity. It will pass. But condition is you should have practiced that break kind of mechanism which I told for minimum 20 to 30 days. And then later on, this thing will only give the, it will remove the thought.
Super. Yeah. The next question is how to convert problems into opportunities.
Yes, it is one of the very bright question which our young generation always needs. See, in management terms, you can say we always have 4 pillars of analysis. One is strength. We call it a SWOT analysis. Strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Right. Now, strength, we are much aware about our strength. Second is weakness. We are much aware about our weakness. Third is opportunity. See, opportunity changes as the surrounding gets changed. It is dynamic thing. It can't be always same. And the fourth thing is threat. Now, opportunity and threat, these 2 things are not in our control. It will be changed as the surrounding is getting changed. But first and second thing are always in our control. That is our strength and that is our weakness.
Weaknesses.
So I urge to each and every person, we should have a list of strength and weaknesses in a written paper. It is not only in mind, but it should be properly penned down. That these 5 are my strengths and these 7 are my weaknesses. Now what we should do? Strength would be there until we live. But weaknesses, we can change it to the strengths.
Yeah.
Every time, we should give 15 days to each and every weaknesses. There is no need to work on each and every weakness at particular time. We should work on one weakness, give a time period of 15 days to that weakness, try to convert that weakness into strength. If you are successful within 15 days, you can move to second weakness. Again, give 15 days of time to that weakness. If you are successful, move to the third weakness. Now, this was very simple. Now, if you counter question that within 15 days, we are not able to convert that weakness into strength, what should we do? Now, if within 15 days, we are not able to convert a weakness into strength, but there would be an improvement. Initially, a weakness would have been 100% weakness. After 15 days, it would have reduced to 70% or 50%. So a weakness which was initially 100%, now it is reduced to 50%. So 50% was the change which you have. And it was the result that 50% of my weakness, now it has been converted into my strength. Now again, focus on leftover 50%, and then we should convert it in the strength. So once the weaknesses are becoming of a strength, it would be very easy to have the opportunities. So the strength itself will give you opportunity. Like suppose I quote an example. If somebody is having a very good vocal cord, right? So that person can be a good singer. That person can be a good music director, right? But that person is afraid of public appearance. So that is the threat or that is the weakness. Strength is vocal cord. The voice is the strength of that person.
Yes.
But public appearance, the fear, the stage fear is the weakness. Now, what should that person do? Now, that person will be focusing on stage fear or public appearance. Now, what that person will do? That person can start connecting with 5 people initially. Connect with 5 people at least for 5 days. The weakness or the kind of fear which that person was having, it would be reduced because he may be friendly with that 5% within 5 days. Now increase the number of person. He is contacting 10 persons. Again for 5 days, he is repeating the exercise. Now he is in contact with 15 persons, and in front of this 15 friendly persons, that person is singing a song. Now he is practicing to remove the stage fear, public interaction. Now he is comfortable with 15 persons easily. Now let's move for the next 5 days, that person is adding more 5 persons. Now he is giving an audition or he's giving a performance in front of 20 persons. Now see, on the day one, he was afraid of public speaking or public appearance. Now on the day 15th, that person is easily comfortable with 20 people.
Yeah.
Now that is the improvement. That is the thing, that weakness has been converted into strength. Though it is a small number, for a singer 20% is a small number. But the same way, once the barrier of 100 people is broken, that singer would be easily available for the public appearance. Then the stage fear has been completely vanished. Now the weakness is completely converted into the strength. The condition is we should give a proper time. We should analyze ourselves every 5 days, every 10 days, every 15 days. But Naman, I would like to point one thing. Everything should be penned down. It is not only thinking, or it is not only oral thing.
Should be
Once you
written.
are analyzing some, yes, we should be noting the things that on this and this date, I was having this much weaknesses. Now, after 15 days, my X weakness has been improved and I have this much strength. So it would boost the confidence that we can easily convert our weaknesses into strength. So these activities will lead to high level of improvement, and within 1 month or within 45 days, we can clearly analyze that before 45 days, the level of my strength and weakness was this. But after 45 days, it has been increased and reached to this level. Condition is this 45 days, we should pen down everything.
And
Then
don't
only
get
we can
frustrated.
increase. Yes, that is the thing. Because see, that singer tried only with 5 persons. He has to give performance in front of 200 or 2000 people, but he has started only with 5 people. Number size was small, but he motivated himself. Okay, yes, I can do something in front of 5 people. I will be able to do something with in front of 10 people. That patted him back. Yes, yes, you are strong. You have been improving the thing. But that is possible only if you are penning down everything day by day. It's like making note on your own self, because only you can know yourself better. No other person can know yourself better. I hope this example and this activity makes the question clear.
Yeah, it makes a lot clear. Thank you for the answer. It was a wonderful answer. The next question is how to build an observational skill. People may lack an observing. This is a many common question which I got in my Insta DM, which people DM'd me.
Okay.
So this question is from them.
See, what is the observation? The day which, on the day once we have born on this planet, day one, we are observing so many things. The condition is we are not actually aware that we have observed. Our brain, see, we are observing with our eyes, and everything has been stored in our hard disk, that is our brain. So we have observed a lot of things, we have gathered huge data, and that data is getting into concluding some things. Like how you come to know that I'm wearing a kind of reddish shirt, because that data has been clearly stored in your brain. This is called as a red color. Now, this red color was first observation once you started learning colors. Then that data was repeatedly getting shown in front of your eyes, and it was concluded that this range to this range is known as red color. So that was an observation. Now, observation is becoming so much common, so we are totally taking it as a granted thing that, oh, okay, observation is not a big thing. Now, observation is actually a huge opportunity to nation. It is a huge opportunity to an individual, because observation only can lead to know about problems of others or the problems which others are facing. Like once I observed that every hour one student is committing suicide, that was my observation, and that concluded into a talk to Chintan kind of helpline. So that was my observation, that was my data, and that was my conclusion. So once we are observing something, it is like observing a problem. Now our brain will constantly starting or it will think, okay, how this problem can be sorted out. Now this is At this phase, it is on a problematic side. Once the data has been fitted, this problem would be observed so many times by our eyes, constantly, and it would be stored in our brain. Slowly, if we are finding a problem, it will move to this side and we call it as a solution. You would like to know, and you will be surprised that almost all the companies, it would be MNC or any kind of business, from all the data, almost 90% of the companies are running their revenues by solving the problem of others. So that is what we call observation and encashment of the observation. Now, what can be an activity? Because I would like to add always an activity with any kind of challenge, because activity leads to easy kind of solution, or it will easily solve the problem. Now, what can be an observation, or what can be the solution? How can we increase the observation skill? We have two kind of observations always. One would be the observation which we are observing in our day-to-day life. It is casual for us, like meeting our neighbor. We are saying hi to our friends. We are greetings our parents. So this is our casual observation. We are not observing any uncertainty. Now, second observation is, you can say, a specialized observation, which we come to know on the first sight. Oh, this is a thing which has happened suddenly, and this is my first experience with this kind of thing. Just note it down in your diary that this was my observation, this was my situation, and this was surrounding. That
We have
was
to
your
take
first
the
observation.
observations seriously.
Yeah. Let's quote it with an example. Suppose there is a kid who is 6 years old. That kid has never seen any kind of robbery in his lifetime. Now suddenly he's moving with his parents in a bank ATM, and they are taking out certain amount of cash. Now they're moving on their car, but suddenly certain robbers come. They break the glass of the ATM and they try to remove money from the ATM. Now this observation is his first observation for robbery. Now what that young kid will do, he will ask that question to his parent, that what thing happened, why this kind of people were breaking the glass, why, what things they were carrying, what they did with the machine, and what they will be doing with so much of money. Now that was the first unusual observation, which he is not observing in his day-to-day life. That is something which was encountered for the first time in his life. Now that is a specialized observation which he can note down in his diary, or he can make a note on it that this was the thing which I first time observed, and this was the response of the public, and this was the thing which should not be repeated in the life, that I should not do any kind of robbery. This is uncivilized thing. This is not helpful for our nation. Now, this was a normal activity. This was a normal observation. The same observation can be done by any kind of individual. Like suppose you are staying in a village and you are having water problem. Now you know it, that it is your daily observation that people are making a line. They are thirsty and they need to provide daily 3 to 4 hours for gathering water for their household uses. That is a normal observation. Now, this normal observation is a problematic side. That person wants to solve this problem. Now, that person will break the problem into small parts. First problem is there is no dam which is built in the village. Second problem is the water is coming from a distant village. Third problem is the water which is coming is not in enough quantity. Only one truck is coming, but my village needs almost 4 trucks daily. Fifth thing which he is observing is, if all the villagers are wasting their 2 hours standing in a queue for gathering water, for getting water, so that 2 hours into total number of persons who are standing in a queue is the wastage of time which our nation or the village has to pay, because the development would be reduced. Now, a common observation was observed in 360 degree, multi-dimensional observation, you can say. You have zoomed in the problem, that why this is a problem which I am daily seeing it, but this problem has multiple 6 different problems. So it is cutting a huge problem into pieces, now observing into 6 different angles. Now what that person can do, he can take single problem, he can convert it into a solution, take second problem, convert it into solution. Like first problem was there
So
was
you
no
have to
link,
break
so
down the problems, right?
break down the problem. Yes,
Yeah.
that will lead to zooming in the problem. Once you are zoomed into the problem with a proper depth, you can clearly convert that problem into a solution. So once
Yes.
one problem is solved, second problem would be solved, third would be solved, fourth would be solved, fifth would be solved. Now these 5 problems were gathering in one point, and that huge problem was clearly solved. Because
Right.
once we are able to analyze a problem, it is not easy to solve one problem easily. So what we'll be doing? It will be cutting it into small problems. That is minor observations, which we call. That microscopic observation, normal observation that that village was not having enough of water was a macro observation. Now, once we are cutting it into 5 points, that is a micro observation, and converting one micro observation a time into a solution will lead to complete conversion of that macro observation into the opportunities.
Yeah.
Right? So that was
Wonderful.
what this generation needs to focus. Cut everything into small things, apply a microscopic thing, and then you can see the miracle will happen.
Yeah. Super. It's a wonderful answer. It is the answers you are giving to the questions is very satisfying. In some books, there will be big authors, but if you read it, you still get unsatisfied answers. But in this,
Yes.
you are giving it in short, and even it is you are giving in short, it's still satisfying. It is super.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The next question is how to increase self-confidence.
Basically, we are living in such a phase of world. See, Naman, if you observe before 100 years, there were no motivational gurus. But within this last 20-30 years, there has been so many motivational speakers, motivational gurus, which are focusing on motivation, which are focusing on self-confidence. Now, if you see a reverse strata, before 20 or 30 years, the suicidal attempts were less.
Yeah.
But right now, suicidal attempts are more. Before
Yes.
30 years, stress level was less. Now stress level is more. Before 30 years, nobody was knowing about motivation, or a less amount of public, like let's say 1%. They were knowing about motivation or motivational principles, motivational speech, or
They were
self-confidence.
very natural in that time.
It was natural, but right now everybody is knowing about motivation, everybody is knowing about motivational speeches,
Yes.
everybody is viewing motivational gurus. Now what is the crux of that? Before 30 years, nobody was listening to motivational gurus because they were not existing ideally. Now we have so many motivational gurus, but are this motivational guru capable of removing stress of any person? According to me,
No.
I have not received any kind of result.
They also give some unsatisfied answers, which is even not
Now what?
related to the real life sometimes.
Yes. So what happens is, once you are listening the speech of a motivational speaker, you would be.
Excuse me, you are mute. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, it's all.
Is my voice? Yeah. Suppose once you are listening to a motivational guru, you would be highly motivated till you are listening the speech. Once you leave the hall, once you leave the space, again you would be back to normal.
Yes.
This sometimes provokes that motivational guru and depression has been certain kind of bubble which was created in front of us. It's a psychological placebo which is being given to each and every individual, that yes, you need somebody to motivate yourself.
They are creating this bubble, and we are trying to crack the bubble, and then we are getting frustrated and are losing our self-confidence.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what happens? We are getting victimized due to this bubble.
Yes.
Because some huge motivational guru will come, He will be wearing a good luxurious fabrics. He will be having a good car. He will be showing so many things which are not actually being done by him, but he would be publicizing himself. He would be constantly trying to dominate his own personality towards the audience, and the audience would be easily accepting, oh yes, I want to be like this guru. But actually, more than 90% of these motivational gurus, they don't have their own business. They don't have their own revenue generation thing. They actually earn revenue by giving speeches.
And creating the
And this,
bubbles.
they are simply creating the bubbles. They
And
are
they are giving
simply,
the courses to crack the bubbles of their own,
so what they do,
creating and
they
living.
find they find their customers. What they do, they focus on weak personalities. The people who are weak mentally, they will be focusing on them. They will be trying to dominate that, yes, you need my course, because once you complete my course, you would be totally changed personality. But now my
Yes.
question is, why do you want to change your personality? Yaar? Every person on this earth is unique. Everybody is unique. Why do you want to make, or why do you want to convert yourself by seeing somebody, or why do you want to replicate somebody?
Yes. So
Yes,
you have to
what
stay natural.
yes, we should be natural. What we can do is we can take certain good things from other. That's okay. But we should not replicate anybody blindly, because that is what being shown to us. Now, self-confidence is what? Self-confidence is believing on yourself, our belief system. Because many of the time belief system works a lot. If I believe constantly for 1 year that yes, I am successful, I am successful, I am successful, I am successful, so in the back of the mind that statement would be constantly rotating in my brain. Yes, I am successful, I am successful, I am successful. It is passing the message throughout my body, throughout every metabolism, throughout every thought. Yes, I'm successful, I'm successful, I'm successful. Right now I'm cheating myself. I'm simply passing the message, I'm successful, I'm successful, though I'm not. But if I do the same thing, if I do the same thing for 1 year, my brain, my own self is habituated replicating the thing. Yes, I'm successful, I'm successful, I'm successful. Now every part of my body, every part of my brain would be working on getting me successful. Now, what is self-confidence here? I simply cheated myself saying I'm successful, and my system believed, yes, I'm successful. Now that boosted my system's confidence. Yes, I'm successful. Yes, I'm successful. Yes, I'm successful. Now, self-confidence is belief on yourself, believe on your
Right.
dreams, believe on your
Yes.
goals, being on your work.
Yeah.
Now, how to boost that belief? That should be the real question which I would like to observe. That how to sustain that self-confidence. Why many of the people are distracted and they don't have self-confidence? Because we are comparing ourselves with others. We are not satisfied with what natural abilities which we have. We are not satisfied with the talents which we have, because we know that everybody, we have a finger here, and the finger sign or the stamp, it is unique for each and every person, right? So the fingerprint is unique throughout the world. It means we ourselves are unique. It means we should have, or we are having some talent, and we should believe on that. Once we are starting believing on that thing, yes, I'm having a talent, I'm a good person, I'm a successful person, I'm doing a good thing, I'm in a right direction, self-confidence by default would be increased. We don't need any kind of motivational speaker, we won't be needing any kind of motivational gurus, and we won't be needing any kind of courses. The first thing is, stop comparing yourself with others, start believing on yourself, start doing things which you want, which you actually feel, yes, this is correct thing, and which I like the most, and I should be doing that. By doing that thing, I would be successful. And start cheating yourself. Yes, I'm successful, I'm self-confident, I'm believing in myself. Within certain period of time, you will see a change in your personality. It would be, I'm not saying that you would be replicating somebody, but you would be enhancing your personality. You would see an improved side of yourself. You would see a stable side of yourself. So a complete focus on your goals would be there. a complete belief on your goals would be there. It is like, see, I'm a horse and I'm having this side pavements on in front of my eyes. I'm not able to see left or right because the horse believes that only I am there. Nobody is there on left and right.
Yes.
Same way, we have to believe, yes, I'm successful. I'm having talent. I'm believing in myself. I'm believing in my work. Yes, I'm doing a good thing. I'm in a right track. Now there would be no distractions because you are seeing yourself like this. There is no other cars which are moving on your way because you are not able to see it. So that will lead to increased belief system, that would lead to less distraction, and that would lead to a superb control of yourself. And that leads to success. And there is no need of any such motivation or artificial motivation. Right? I hope it is clear from my side.
Yeah, it's absolutely clear. Superb answer. So, I'm going to end our interview. The last question for the interview is 3 advices for the audience.
Yeah, 3 advices I would like to give. First advice is always believe in yourself. You should be believing on your vision. Believing in myself means I'm believing in my talent, I'm believing my vision, I'm believing my goal. So that is first, you should be believing yourself. Second is try to help as many as you can. That will
Yeah.
build your emotional quotient. Because once you are helping somebody, you would be readily available to help on yourself. Because once you are helping somebody, you are easily available to help your own self. Helping others will ultimately lead to helping my own self.
Correct.
And that is the way by which you can make a positive network. First is believing in yourself. Second is helping others as much as you can. And
Yes.
third thing is never compare yourself with anybody.
You
So
are
that is
unique
what
and you
I
are
would like
natural.
to share is 3 things.
Yeah.
First thing is believe yourself.
Help others
Second thing,
as
help
much as
maximum as much as you can possible, or as
Yes.
much as help is possible to others. Third is never compare yourself to anybody. Be natural. Accept yourself. Start loving yourself. Accept yourself. Yes, I'm this and I'm perfect. I love myself. Because once you love yourself, you will love the subject which you are studying. You will love the profession which you are doing. You will love your family. You will love your surrounding. But the first dot is love. So this is what 3 principles I would like to give to each and every viewers and listeners.
Definitely, these 3 advices are the best advices and will help a lot to our audience and including me. Yeah. Thank you.
Hope so.
Yeah. So let's end today's episode of the Learning Podcast with a positive statement. Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage that counts. A quote by Winston Churchill. Thanks a lot for answering these questions, for being in this episode of the Learning Podcast. It was an honor to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Naman.
So I'll see you in the next episode. Follow me on Instagram, subscribe my YouTube channel. Links are in description. Stay learning with the Learning Podcast and stay smiling with Naman Shah. See ya.